Hi guys, so we're continuing with question 5 of the CSEC Math May 2024 paper 2, which is on statistics. So part B, the attendance officer at a particular school recorded the time T in minutes taken by each student in a group to travel to school. The data collected is shown on the cumulative frequency curve below. So this is our cumulative frequency curve. Okay, so we have time in minutes on the x-axis and cumulative frequency on the y-axis. So using the cumulative frequency curve, find an estimate of the number of students who took at most 32 minutes to travel to school for 1 mark. So remember, in the previous part, I had explained that cumulative frequency is the total frequency up to a particular value. So we want to find the number of students who took at most 32 minutes, meaning 32 minutes and less. So it means that at 32 minutes here on the x-axis, let me just put a little mark. Okay, because I don't know if you can faintly see the lines on the graph. Each mark will be 2 minutes, right? So it'll be 32, 34, 36, 38. Okay, so this is 32 minutes here. So if I draw a line straight up to meet the curve, and then I go across, okay, this value would be the number of students who would have taken 32 minutes and less to travel to school. In other words, at most 32 minutes. Okay, because remember again, cumulative frequency is frequency up to a particular value. So this number of students would have taken up to 32 minutes. So looking at the graph on the y-axis, that's figure out the scale. So between 40 and 60, so that's 20 divided by 5, 4. So that means each division is 4. Right, so this will be 44, this will be 48, and this will be 52. Okay, so therefore 52 students took at most 32 minutes to travel to school. So let's go on to part 2 of the question. So for 2 marks, we need to find the interquartile range. Okay, so the interquartile range is what we call a measure of dispersion. Okay, and that is equal to Q3 minus Q1, where Q3 is what we call the upper quartile and Q1 is called the lower quartile. So Q1 is a quarter of the nth value. Notice I don't use the +1 in this case because since we're dealing with cumulative frequency, it doesn't matter if I add the 1 to n in this case, because the values will just be about the same, approximately the same, right? Because n in this case, our total frequency, let's see, we have 220 students in all. So even if I add 221, and I find a quarter of that, that value wouldn't be statistically different than if I just use 220. Okay, so let's just use a quarter of the 220th value. Okay, and of course 220 divided by 4 gives 55. So we're looking at the 50th value, which we will read off from the graph in just a little bit. Let's find Q3. Q3, our upper quartile, is 3/4 of the nth value. Okay, so that will be 3/4 of 220. Okay, so therefore that will be the 165th value. Okay, so let's read off these 2 values from our curve. So we're looking for the 55th value and the 165th value. So the 55th value, all right, so on the y-axis, All right, so this is where it gets a little tricky because of our scales. So remember, for each division on the y-axis is 4. All right, so this was 52 here. So this would be 56. So 55 will be a little below this mark here. So let's see about here. Let me change the color. Okay, so we're using this here. Okay, it's gonna be close. I think I almost messed up there. All right, so it means that if this is 32, this is 34, 33, I would estimate that as. So that's our Q1. Now, the 165th value, okay, so again, remember, each division on this axis is 4, so this will be 164 here. So 165 will be a little above that mark. So let's just estimate there. And then we have to come down. All right, so I would estimate this to be, if this is 52, this will be 54. So Q3 is 54. So therefore our IQR in total range Q3 minus Q1, it will be 54 minus 33, which will give 21 minutes. Don't forget, this is continuous data, so you have to include the units. In this case, remember, it's time taken to travel, so the units for the interquartile range is in minutes.